Editor, have me flicking on the light switch. Also, editor, have the lights go on when I flick on the light switch. Editor, can you put me over there, please? Thanks, editor. Can you get ready to cue me for my intro here, editor? All right, this is a real easy job. I'm just gonna go over there, I'm gonna do my intro, and then all you have to do is just film and hold the camera right here, okay? All right, right here. Cool. All right, look good? Facing the picture? Okay. So, if you've been in the industry, what are you filming? You're pointing the camera down here. Point the camera up. Stop the film real quick. It's not that hard of a job. It's very simple. You're the 30th editor I have this whole entire year. I don't care about it being the holiday seasons either. I will fire you today, okay? Next time, don't lie in your resume about knowing how to edit. No, I don't care if you call me good looking. I don't care if I think you're good looking. I don't care what connection we have. Just get out of here. Go. You're fired. Happy holidays, you too. Well, that was kind of awkward. The editor had to go, and I don't know if he'll be back. But there is another spot open. I'm very easy to work with. Give me a call. Anyways, guys, let's get into today's video. We're talking about the collapse of the entry-level road bicycle. It doesn't mean that it has to be carbon. It doesn't mean that it has to be aluminum. We're talking about those two sections and categories as a whole. If you guys are looking at my inventory right now of my road bike stock, this is current inventory adjusted to 2023 going to 2024. And as you guys can see, there is a lot of high-end road bicycles up on here. Starting off with the S-Works, working all the way down to Pro. All these bicycles are literally above $5,000. Now, it's not just because of the fact that where we live at, but it seems that after this whole kind of pandemic swift change has happened, that the customer base that used to be here, the entry-level road bike customer that we used to have stocked up on here, has changed. It's become way more of an enthusiast sport. We have more people asking us questions about the Pro, Expert, and S-Works models. We have more people asking us about mid-tier to high-tier stuff. That customer that used to come into the store and look for a $1,000 road bike or a $2,000 carbon fiber road bike has been non-existent lately. Yes, there's been onesie, twosies. I mean, there's never like a complete dead silence of it, but it is non-existent in terms of what it used to be. Back in the day, a customer used to come in and look at an LA E5, $700. And we have a ton of them. People will hear about the sport, maybe get interested in the sport and want to jump on board into that sport as well. And there'll always be that conversation. Now it seems that my sales of bicycles in general are that customer that knows what they want, have YouTube as a tool, maybe watch the Pro Tour, has a bunch of friends, has a bunch of group rides, and they already have this kind of guided system. But there really is that lack of that novice customer. We used to have customers all the time say, I want to get into road biking. I know nothing. Let's go into it. Yes, the sales will take a long time, but it was always fun and exciting to go ahead and show this customer that. Talk about, what are you looking to do with this road bicycle? What's your plans with it? Are you looking for leisure ridings, competitive? Are you looking to get into group rides? Are you looking to do triathlons later on? That customer is fallen off the face of the earth, and we barely get questions asked on it. And it's not because those bicycles are bad. This right here is an entry-level Specialized LA that is now $1,200. Many of you might think that that's just way overpriced, which I will talk about in just a second in terms of what the price has become. But for what you get for this bicycle in current year is actually decent, and Specialized is pretty much on par or across the board right there with price in terms of everyone. And I've searched the entire market. I searched Trek, Specialized, Scott, Giant, even Canyon. And Canyon's road bikes alone are $1,500 at aluminum price point. What the aluminum bikes come with today: aluminum frame, usually carbon fiber forks, disc brakes, 2 gears in the front and 8 gears in the back with a Shimano Claris on there. Now, the Shimano Claris has come a long way. There's definitely been trickle-down technology. There's no more thumb shifters, as you guys can see right there. The shifters actually look pretty modern for what they are. But still, is this the reason why there is no more entry-level road bike customer? Is the above $1,000 price point bicycle just intimidating and scaring away a lot of people? Anyone who's entry-level to anything usually doesn't want to jump in and spend a bunch of money on it. So is that the main reason for it? Also, for entry-level carbon road bikes, Tarmac SL6, that bicycle used to be $2,300. Then over the pandemic course, it jumped up from $2,300 to $2,500 to $2,700 now. Right now it's on sale from $2,700 down to $2,300. And there is going to be, that sale will continue on there. But that bicycle is a phenomenal bicycle, but we don't have a lot of people coming in asking for it. That bicycle is a full carbon fiber road bike that is decked out with Shimano Thiaga, which is a very great group set. This is the group set hand right here. And I almost think that Shimano Thiaga has kind of taken over that people's group set. It's a 10-speed group set. Looks really good. And also the shifters on the hydraulic disc brake side as well perform exactly how you want to. Nice hydraulic disc brake, a nice lever throw as well. I could see Shimano going ahead and making some crazy upgrades to this thing to make it a little bit more competitive, a little bit better looking, or maybe reduce the size of the hoods and make it look like a normal Shimano 105 Ultegra or Dura-Ace. And maybe jumping up to 11 speed, and really this will become the people's group set. But is the Thiaga group set the reason why people are not buying carbon fiber entry-level road bikes, or is it just the price again? We will talk about that in just a second. Let's talk about who this bicycle is for. This is the Specialized Elite. This is the cheapest road bike that you can buy from Specialized. And this is, like I said, pretty much on par with the entire industry in terms of what a price point is. This is $1,200. Again, aluminum frame, carbon fiber fork. This is going after someone who wants to be starting off. They don't know if they want to invest some money into a bicycle. They don't know if they're going to like it. We all heard the saying whenever someone comes into the bicycle store, I ain't no pro bike racer. I ain't no Tour de France rider. I just want a bicycle that bikes. But this is a bicycle that kind of allows that customer to fall in love with the sport and become more than just a person who rides bikes. This is maybe a bicycle that might allow someone to jump into a group ride with a buddy, allow someone to get into a duathlon or a triathlon, or maybe you just want to try something new that's out of their comfort zone. These are the bicycles that are really supposed to make people enjoy them. So them being at $1,200, I think are kind of being a price intimidation. The entry-level road bike really did thrive when it was under $1,000. And also the Elite E5 back in the day, which is the rim brake. They used to be not so much versatile, but the Elite E5 back in the day used to look like a race bike and look badass and really draw on some people who are like, hey, I'm thinking about starting a sport, and really make them fall in love with the bicycle. Not saying that this bicycle is bad looking at all, but it has a lot of characteristics to it that just is like a do-it-all bicycle. It can fit up to 35 mil tires. It can allow fenders. You can put racks on this thing if you wanted to. So this bicycle is great in terms of how versatile it is and what you can do with it. But maybe someone's just looking to get into a road bike in this matter for a specific reason, like performance. The gearing on here, like I mentioned before, is not bad at all. It is a Shimano Polaris, an 8-speed group set that actually shifts really nice when the mechanic adjusts it properly. The hoods as well are pretty comfortable. They're very small. The shifting looks like an old school 105 shifter. Works really well. What I will say though, I think they need to make their bikes a little bit more appealing, because back in the day, they used to have an aluminum Elite and aluminum Sector. And the Sector was an endurance model that was more capable of things, and the Elite was more of the race bike. This is kind of like a do-it-all aluminum road bike again. But if you got people that want to get into sport and they're falling in love with this sport, they're not going to want to look at this thing and buy this thing because it doesn't have this kind of race appeal to it. Canyon did a really good job with their aluminum road bike. It's $1,500, and it looks a little bit more enticing, but it still has very similar components and group sets on there. It's not anything to rave home about. But what I really do think is if you bring in an entry-level road bike underneath $1,000, I think you're going to set up customers to be in a little bit better position for that. Also, another reason on why it could be just such a slow time of entry-level road bikes, during that pandemic time, every single bicycle that was in bicycle stores sold. A lot of people had used bikes that upgraded. A lot of people that needed a bicycle bought a bicycle during that time. And even when people bought a bicycle, they maybe didn't even need it. And now that real life has got back and caught up to them, maybe they sell off their bikes now. So I've been seeing crazy deals for entry-level road bikes on eBay, on Facebook Marketplace, on Craigslist, to the point where it's like $100 to $200 on a bicycle, not like this, but you get the gist. And yeah, it's absolutely crazy. Even Giant has an entry-level road bike that is $1,000, but it's a rim brake bike. Their disc brake bike starts at $1,200. The Trek is about $1,300, and Canyon, like I mentioned before, is $1,500. This bicycle right here is a step up from that Elite. This is the Elite Sport model, and this has a hydraulic disc brake system on here and a nicer group set. You're jumping from an 8-speed group set on that Elite that I just showed you
to this group set right here. That's 10 speed, so you get much better gearing for climbing if you live in a climbing area. You also have hydraulic disc brakes that feel night and day difference between those mechanical rim brake calipers over there. Night and day for a road bike. And also a much better paint job. This thing looks pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. But again, I would like to see something a little bit cheaper again for that. For $1,800, I think you can do a little bit better. Maybe get it to that $1,300 price point. Have that for $1,000. That's just me saying it. Obviously, maybe price correction will come. That's for the road bike scene, for the aluminum scene. And just to give you guys an example too, this is a Scott Speedster that is their entry-level bike for $1,200. This is with a Shimano tourney rear derailleur. That tourney rear derailleur is usually found on your normal hybrids and city bikes. It's a 7-speed gear set with a crazy looking micro shift 7-speed Shimano shift on there, and that thing is $1,200. So again, I think they can do a little bit better with pricing and get that underneath that $900. Now, this is an aluminum lay, like I mentioned before, but for the entry-level carbon fiber scene that I was just mentioning, we're going to use this bike as reference because it has the exact same group set that will come on there. We're going to go into the Specialized Tarmac SL6 that was once $2,300, that is now $2,700, and that bicycle comes with a Shimano Thiaga. Now, for whatever reason, people are really hung up on group sets, and if it doesn't have a name on there that they don't like, they don't want to buy the bicycle. Now, the Tarmac SL6 is one of the best bicycles. I think it was one of the biggest revolutionary jumps from the SL5 to the SL6. And to get that SL6 frame and that price point was a really good deal, especially at that $2,200 to $2,300 frame. During that time when we were selling a lot of the Tarmac SL6 base models, people, whenever they would start going into the sport, they would obviously ask a friend, or maybe they're getting introduced into the sport as a friend. And because of the fact that Thiaga is considered a junk group set back in the day, everyone would usually always come in and say, hey, my friend sent me in here. I'm looking for a group set with maybe a Shimano 105, Shimano ELITEWHEELS. I'm like, okay, no problem. What's your budget? What's your price point you're looking to get? And they would say, oh, I'm looking around $1,000 to $2,000. I'm like, okay, well, that's not realistic anymore. That Shimano 105 that once was has definitely had trickle-down technology, and they put a lot of that old-school 105 that your buddy used to like into this Thiaga right here. But again, because of the fact that it was not a name brand, it definitely held up a lot of sales, and people didn't like that. And even this being a 10-speed stuff, it was one gear off the 11-speed stuff during the time that all the Shimano 11-speed stuff was the top-tier stuff, which would have a big issue if you ever wanted to upgrade. You would have to upgrade the whole group at a time and not just one piece at a time because of the fact that it was 10-speed on there. So that had a lot to do with it. So I think that base model price point, a lot of people utilize Shimano Thiaga for that. Anyone who uses a base model entry-level bicycle, they usually spec it with a Shimano Thiaga around that price point there. But what I think we're seeing now is we're seeing a lot of people with the direct-to-consumer sales pitches. They're seeing a lot of bikes spec'd with 105. I've seen people buy crap frame bicycles just because it had a good group set on there. Whereas this Shimano Thiaga, for where it is down here, I would always tell people when I was telling the Tarmac SL6, I'm like, listen, you guys are only shifting 3 to 4 times down here in South Florida. You're going to be boom, 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 boom. That is it. And this stuff will shift like a dream while riding. I mean, it is crisp. You close your eyes on here. Back in the day when you had a 10-speed to 11-speed Shimano 105 Thiaga, it was very hard to tell the difference on it. So the Specialized Tarmac SL6, I think they're going to have to revamp that whole entry-level stuff. Everyone's talking about, oh, the bike is going to way too high. There has to be a lot of rework to the entry-level stuff. I think we have to start seeing, again, bicycles in that $2,000 price range with Shimano 105 mechanical or with a Shimano Thiaga. I mean, Shimano, I think, has to step it up on the group sets and really do some revamping to this stuff to get a bicycle on there. That has a good-looking group set that's around $2,000 because of the fact that so many people are not willing to spend that $3,000, and it's definitely for an entry-level bicycle, you know? People say, I have to get carbon, I have to get this. No one wants to spend $3,000 on something that they're not sure if they're going to ride or not sure if they're going to continue on. So they get all this influence from YouTube, from their friends. Maybe they're scared to go into the group ride because of the fact that they're scared about getting judged for getting an aluminum bike, or maybe they get a bicycle that's not what their friends said to get, so they're scared of what they're going to say. There's so much influence nowadays. So the fact that they just scrap the whole bicycle idea altogether because of the fact that a price point doesn't work for them. But let me know what you guys think. How has your bicycle store had, or ask the audience, how's your bicycle store doing? No, but seriously, how has your local bike shop been affected by this whole industry change? Do you see a different change in what is on there for stock? Because our inventory has completely changed in terms of what we used to stock to now. Like all these bikes right here, we don't sell them as much, where we used to be a big time walk-in store. We have way more questions and calls getting asked about top end road bikes. We have way more questions getting called about top end, the big end bicycle right now. And that could be a big effect on the economy because of the fact that people only spend money on what they necessarily need. So if you're spending that kind of big time buco bucks to you, this sport, this hobby, this whatever it is to you might be really important to you. So you're okay with spending the money. Whereas that entry-level customer is really trying to make that dollar work for them right now. Maybe just trying to put a roof over their head, a meal, provide for their family. And they're like, hey, I can cut out a bicycle. I don't need it right now. So maybe that has a lot to do with it as well. But we've seen the customers really driving into our store is really the top tier, high-end stuff. Even mid-tier stuff, you know. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I'll see you guys next video.